Hey, welcome back. What do I got? Another X-Men 90s comic. X-Men comic from the 90s. These are fun. These I actually haven't looked through a bunch of these comics since I read them, or it's been years and years, so it's been kind of fun digging out some of these older issues because a lot of people seem to be responding to some of these this old X-Men 90s stuff when it was at like the height of its popularity. I mean, the Jim Lee stuff was probably at its peak, but it was still kind of going strong. People have fond memories. So X-Men number 30. This is at last the wedding of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. So that's cool. We'll take a look at this double-sided cover. Bunch of X-Men. I mean, Andy Kubert. I've talked about him several times in other videos. He's still up and coming at this point in my view. I don't know how many he's done it, how many issues he's drawn, but I think he gets better. He still has a weird style at times, but I like this. That's kind of a nice cover. I like Jean Grey with her leg up and like the dress and the fucking cape. She's wearing this weird cape and and hood thing. It's blowing in the wind. That's kind of cool. And it has a lot of, all the major X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor players back here, including Guido. And then just random people. So, cool cover. Let's get into it. So, here's a letter from Wolverine. And at this point, Wolverine, this is issue number 30. 5 issues ago in 25 is when Magneto ripped out Wolverine's skeleton. And since then, Wolverine has left the X-Men because I think he felt he was going to die. His healing factor wasn't what it used to be. He wasn't doing well, and he wanted to go take care of some stuff, and, he left. And that was an issue, Wolverine number 75. And that was kind of a sad story. I don't think I have that. I bet Rob does. Robert, you should do that video. But Wolverine left. So he hasn't been around for a little bit, but he sends a letter to Jean and Scott. So Jean is reading it here. And this is kind of a nice thing. Like, Wolverine has always had the hots for Jean Grey. And while he's been at odds with Cyclops, they've been friends and they've had mutual respect, and Wolverine knows that Jean and Scott are meant to be at this point. So he sends them a letter. And I'm going to read it to you real fast. He says, Jean and Scott, what am I going to say? I don't even know. I've never been too good at writing down the things I feel inside. I just wanted to let you two know how much you mean to me. How much the things you did for me mattered. You guys are something special, and most times you don't even see it. I hate cursive. Can I just say that? You go together like fire and ice, like a hurricane and its eye. It sounds strange, but it fits. One can't exist without the other. Each one makes the other stronger than the parts. I'm leaving for now because the old knucklehead's parts ain't better than the whole anymore. Besides, it's time to take the next step in life. Maybe you should look at each other with new eyes, the way I've had to look at myself, and ask yourselves, isn't it time we do the same thing? Isn't it time we took the next step in our lives too? Love, Logan. I guess that's sweet. I don't know. So, Jean Grey's reading it here. I mean, she loves Logan in a certain way. She's getting her dress and her, hood and cape together. Storm's there. Phoenix, Rachel Summers is with her. And they're trying to get her to hey, just quit moving around. But she's reading the thing. She's getting emotional. She's putting it away. They're messing up her dress. And they're just having touching, tender moments. Lots of words. Right? There's a lot of words, but it's kind of fine. It's not very exciting for a video like this when there's so many words. It's cooler to see the art and the action, but this is not an action story. This is character development. It's a big momentous occasion. The wedding of Cyclops and Jean Grey, that's kind of been on the horizon for a while. They've been a couple since they started, since they were kids. So it's supposed to be like a big event without much drama. And there isn't much drama. So Rachel Summers is there. She's a daughter in a sense. God, what was her thing? I know it. She's not like a real daughter, but is she like a daughter from an alternate future? Something like that. Yeah. And they're talking about her, and, you know, she says, thanks, Mom, to Jean. So she's basically a daughter. And now you go to the boys. Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, Archangel, you know, the original. And they're trying to tie a bow tie, and they're having a hard time. And, you know, they're just hanging out. They're doing shit together, talking about being married and this big step and all that kind of stuff. And more words. There's a lot of words. I'm not going to go through everything. Professor X comes in, and he's like, give me that thing. And he ties the bow tie. It's like, that's how you do it. I wore a bow tie once in my adult life. And I thought it was going to be a tie-on bow tie. I'm going to have to figure it out. It was just a clip-on. People are like, just fucking give them a clip-on. I rented a tux, and it was a clip-on. Anyways, gives them the tie. They're all happy. They're all doing stuff like, oh, you know, I love you. You're a teacher. I know you're a student, but you kind of annoy the fuck out of me. And he's like, okay, momentous occasion. My students, my children, my friends, shall we take the first step together? All right. Lots of fucking ads. So they're bouncing through more fucking words, just plastered with words everywhere. I think Professor X is talking, and he drops a letter, and it's a letter from Wolverine to Professor Xavier also. And he says, I've been meaning to read it, but I haven't gotten the time. And like, yeah, like Jean was just looking at the one that he wrote to Scott and her. They talk about goodbyes are always tough. So, whatever. We go along, and you got Alex. Was this Alex, or was this Iceman back there? This might have been Havoc. Is that Iceman back there? Yeah, that's Iceman. That's Havoc. Okay. So Iceman is his best friend. Best man. So, let's see. Who do we got here? Is that Artie and Leech from Generation X? I think that's Jean Grey's mom and dad. Beast must be Iceman. Professor X, Bishop, Archangel, Cable, Boomer. Who are like Shatterstar, Nightcrawler? Is that Valerie Cooper? Who's this? I'm not sure. Is that Cannonball? Is that Siren? I don't know. Warpath. I forget her name. Who are these people? I don't remember. Oh, this is Warpath because he's big. Is that Banshee? Domino. Lorna Dane, Crystal and Pietro, Quicksilver and Crystal, Guido, Strong Guy, Gambit, Rogue, Jubilee, Psylocke, took the opportunity. Must be Forge. Is that Dazzler? I don't know. Kids. So, a lot of people. It's, you know, a lot of X-Men. So the music starts, and here comes Storm. She must be the bridesmaid. Lila Cheney begins the wedding march. Gambit says, looking good. Rogue tells him to shut the fuck up. And they have a little moment when they get up here, Storm and Cyclops. He's like, don't say anything or I'm going to cry. And then it's like, it doesn't matter because whatever I say you won't hear when you see what's coming down the aisle. And Cyclops is thinking, like, why is she wearing a cloak and a hood? But, you know, it's a wedding dress. Dun, 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 dun. So they come down. More words, probably from Professor Xavier. No, this is from Jean Grey. No. Who is talking here? Because she says, I feel the skipping of his heart, the sheer happiness that envelops him. As Jean walks down the aisle with her father. So someone else is doing this. Oh, I sense Professor Gray's thoughts. Thought it said Professor X. So yeah, this is Professor X talking. My bad. So talking about Professor Gray. Him. Professor of something. All right. So, they do the wedding, talking, all that kind of stuff. It goes on some of the people here who are kind of a couple, like the parents. I don't know who these people are. Rogue and Gambit, Quicksilver and Crystal. There's Cable back there. He's related to them in some way. We got these cards in here. Let's look at these weird cards. Wedding of Cyclops and Jean Grey. Those are kind of cool, I guess. Going through the various eras when they first met, Dark Phoenix shit, and the more recent X-Men stuff. Kind of, I feel like that's more of an homage instead of copying. Okay, Rusty. All right, so they go through the wedding speech, now pronouncing husband and wife. Let's see a kiss now. So they kiss. And what a kiss we see indeed. The hoorays start with Jubilee. The applause, I realize, much to my surprise, starts with me. Oh, that's sweet. So, it's a wedding stuff, and they go out and they start doing a dance. This song is One by U2, so that's the song that they're dancing to. And then her father comes in, and I don't know who's dancing with Cyclops here. His mom's dead, and Corsair is not here. Must be her mom. But elsewhere, in the danger room, you have Sabretooth. And he's been imprisoned. They're trying to rehabilitate him. This is around all that time. I've done a few issues where like Sabretooth has been with the X-Men, and he's just they put him in the danger room because they don't want to worry about him, like put him in a wilderness thing, let him just kind of like feel like he's free, even though he's got this muzzle and shackles on. And he's starting to talk. Stupid idiots, look at them all. Happy Cow's just waiting to march into the slaughter. He's like, I could make a mess of things, even with a mask and gloves hold me back, pinning down my claws and suppressing my senses. He wants to just fuck with the day. He'll find a way, right? But somebody kicks him in the back. It's like, who? Now his senses are being suppressed, so he can't really smell who it is. And so whoever it is, he's like, so you were here after all, weren't you? And it says, don't even think about it. And we never say for sure, but we're led to believe that's Wolverine. He wasn't here. I'm sure he didn't want to be here for the wedding because it's probably hurtful for him, but he still made a point to show up and make sure old shithead here isn't going to mess things up. So they go back to the wedding, the reception. They're getting food here. Iceman and Bobby are talking about their love lives, about how they have to get a life. I like Beast is just piling up all this food on his head and stuff. Havoc and Polaris talking about their relationship a little bit. Talking about, they see Rain. She's part of X Factor, but she sees her old friends in X-Force. Got Cable here talking with Val Cooper from X Factor. And he's like, am I still wanted by the government? And she says, let's just say I'll pretend I didn't see you here. And see who? So, she worked for the government with X Factor. He's kind of an outlaw. But they're like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Let's just make this a nice day. Mech Warrior for Super Nintendo. So now they do some of the traditional things. Jean Grey throws the bouquet. Rogue uses her powers and she goes to get it. And Jubilee's all upset. Nice opportunity to show Psylocke in that dress. Surprised they didn't show it closer. And then they take the garter off of Jean and they throw it, and all these guys are diving for it because whoever gets it gets to put it on Rogue's leg. But, you know, fucking Gambit ain't letting anybody do that but him. Now, mes amis, you didn't think I'd give anyone else a chance to slip this on, little lady, did you? I think not. You know, with the accents. Cake pushing in into his face, and then they're just kind of having a moment, and people who are like related, Cable and Rachel Summers, they're just kind of watching. That's kind of like a nice little moment. Lethal Enforcers. So there's one last dance that they want to do, and Jean Grey wants to have a dance with Professor Xavier, but he's a big old cripple. He's like, how am I going to? He's like, you know I can, but she uses her powers of telekinesis and levitates him up, so they're both floating so they can have a dance. So that's kind of a nice little moment between them. You know, it's getting a storm. She's crying. She's happy. I mean, do we need to go through all this dialogue? They're just talking about how much they love each other, how much they appreciate each other, all that kind of stuff, to be a family. Nice sentiments. So they're getting ready to go on their honeymoon. He has one last goodbye to Professor X. He talks about Corsair, who sent a message to him. So, you know, couldn't make it because he was in deep space, but whatever. So they say goodbyes. And he says, like, for all that, all these words, I give you a fucking speech, but I just wanted to say I love you, Charles Xavier. Aw, that's so nice. So he's going through his mail right here. There's something from Muir Island and from Moira, the Muir Island Genetic Research Facility. I think they're like working on the legacy virus, and it says, Charles, we were right. Cable might very well hold the key to a vaccine, Moira. Now, did this come before or after the Executioner song? Because Cable was gone for him. Who cares? No, this is after. I understand now. Yeah, I remember. So he, the letter from Wolverine falls again like it did before, but he catches it this time and he decides to open it, and it just says, Dear Chuck, lighten up. Your old pal Logan. And that just makes him chuckle, and he laughs, and he's kind of dawning a renewed hope, it says. So it's not a double-sized issue. God, this game fucking sucked. I hated this game so much. The Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. So dumb. I couldn't get it. Thunderstrike was good, though. But anyways, it's not a big double, 40-page issue. There wasn't a lot of drama. Like, I did a New Avengers comic where Luke Cage and Jessica Jones got married, and the wedding was a little bit of the proposal at the beginning and a wedding at the very end with like a kind of a big battle, which had to do with like the overall story going on at the time. But this is just focused on the wedding. And these were some nice issues. Even as a kid, I didn't need action all the time. You know, like just some of these like character developments and these fun moments and these sweet moments were like really like nice, like breath of fresh air. So there it is, X-Men number 30. Wedding of Cyclops and Jean Grey. It is what it is. Not tremendously special, but not bad. So what did you think? Hit that like button and comment on what you want me to do next. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.